Okay. This episode is brought to you by our Patreon supporters. Today's patron of the day is Frank. Patrons get the show always ad-free and access to the extended episode with bonus content. If you don't want to miss all of that, go to patreon.com/calltheline. That's patreon.com/calltheline. And I'm just gonna I'm gonna let that just fade out, you know? I don't know.
Yes.
Did that feel good? Did that feel nice? Okay, great.
It felt really nice.
Okay, good. And then we're gonna free intro. Welcome back to The Line as a Podcast. I'm Alyssa, and we are joined by
Jasmine.
Yay! Today is Friday, May 30th, and today we're going to be talking about some legal drama surrounding the Trump's global tariffs. We'll unpack RFK Jr.'s decision to remove COVID vaccines from the CDC recommendations for kids and pregnant women, and what that means for public health. We'll also talk about the growing cultural conversation about birth rates, not really birth rates, motherhood. That's like a crazy summary. But we are going to talk about the public health crisis in the U.S. And today's a really exciting episode because today we have my friend Jasmine on. Jasmine and I have been friends for a really long time now. It's been a couple of years. And we do a podcast together called After Hours. And so we have her on the pod today. Thanks for joining us.
Yay. Of course. I'm glad. We had to really hop on here quickly because we were already ready to ready to go. I was like, maybe we should probably wait.
Yeah, we were raring to go. Yeah, we were talking a little bit about stories that we wanted to discuss because I think so for me, my role in this podcast is I think of the three of us, me, Promise, and Jimmy, I think I'm the comparatively least informed on politics. I learn a lot talking to them even when we're doing the podcast. So I don't always have the most not nuanced or groundbreaking takes to share. But when I get to choose the stories, I also like to choose ones that I do have a little bit more of an opinion on. And so when we were choosing the stories, I wanted you to also have the experience of what do you want to talk about? And so one of the first things that you brought up to me, if not the first thing, was the conversation from a David Pakman TikTok where he was talking about the CDC and some crazy shit that's been going on.
Yes.
I hate
it. So and he broke it down so eloquently that there was no fluff into it. That you understood exactly what this administration, what a lot of Republicans are trying to do. And it's terrifying to see it or to hear it and then realize that you're witnessing it in real time. And a lot of people, myself included, can shut down very simply like that when these things are happening and you're actually seeing it. And I was telling Alyssa, I was I want to stay inside. I do stay inside, but it makes me want to stay inside even more. And it's just, I
know. So I want to start with the CDC stuff because RFK Jr. also removed the COVID vaccine recommendation for pregnant people and apparently for children. I'd seen a story of him removing the recommendation for pregnant people. And I immediately shared a story or shared a reel of that to my Instagram story because my population is centered around women's health. And so it's important that I share that information. And one of the biggest impacts of this is that because the CDC is no longer going to recommend the vaccination, that means that it's giving the insurance companies a little bit more leeway into not having to cover it at all.
Right. Exactly.
Crazy. And what's even crazier is that the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists had put out a statement where they were basically extremely concerned and saying that the science is supporting that the vaccination during pregnancy should remain unchanged, and that infection during pregnancy can lead to insanely serious complications, things that are severe and life-threatening. And the vaccination also can protect the baby for months after it's born. So
it's not about life.
yeah,
It's never been about protecting life of the baby of like it's so evident. And they just and it's makes me so mad that no one on that side can see it.
Yeah.
Like, how can you not see that?
Well, and I'll tell you, I had posted that in my story, and I have a friend who is like, how would I even word it? Quietly a Trump supporter. Like I don't think she actually is a Trump supporter, because I don't think she's like, informed enough to say that. Like, I don't think she would even say that, but she definitely is in like the Republican, on the Republican side of media. So she responded to my story and was just kind of like, this is basically saying that she works in healthcare. I think she works at like the front desk of like a cardiologist's office. So like holding space for whatever that is. And like I respect her proximity to clinicians, but also like, you know, you're not a doctor. Right. And so like, I'm going to trust the doctors who have expressed deep concern. And the reel that I shared was
of schoolwork.
Right. The reel that I shared was an ICU nurse, like a COVID ICU nurse, who was like, I sat on the bedsides of pregnant women who were going to pass, and because they weren't vaccinated, or like because it was before the vaccination was available for them. And like, to see this decision, it's going to be life-threatening, and this is not a joke, and this is not something to be taken lightly. And she was just kind of like, well, people should be able to have the choice. And I was like, you can turn down the vaccination if you want to. Like, you don't have to get it, but it's important that it's covered by insurance, and it's important that we don't have like a fear-mongering situation. You know, it's like, and she was using the example of like during COVID when people were losing their jobs if they weren't vaccinated. It's like, okay, that's not what we're talking about. And also, if you want to talk about like people having bodily autonomy, you also have Republicans over and over again stripping that away from people. So like, it's not about bodily autonomy. It's about
hypocrisy.
It's shocking. It's not a critical thought in sight.
Take it. Nothing. I'm like, where are you? And I try so many times to just like listen to other people. And I'm like, again, give me like a complete thought that doesn't contradict something else that you also so strongly believe in. Give it to me. And like, no one can. And like, you're not giving me anything that makes any sense because you're a hypocrite.
It's hard because I don't, like, I feel like I hear parts of the things that I say where it's like, conservative people are just wrong. Like, they're just wrong and their ideology is wrong. And then I'm like, well, but people should be allowed to have their own opinions. But like, their opinion is fucking wrong a lot of the time. It just is. Like, it's just like, it's not an opinion. It's like, it's just like you said, it's contradicting itself. So like, if you could give me a full nuanced critical thought where you're not contradicting yourself over and over again, then like I would be more comfortable.
With every single topic that we're trying to discuss with you, you go back and forth and back and forth. So that each one, it's like a hopping back. And I'm like, you got to pick a lane, brother.
Pick a lane. And then, so this story also then kind of like rolls over into that TikTok about what David Pakman was talking about, but overall dismantling of the CDC, where there's been this like really growing conversation about how the CDC has been fucking radio silent for months. And this is because Trump has been slashing jobs, like just removing people like crazy, gutting it. And so the whole agency is like skeleton staffed, and we have measles, hepatitis, salmonella, and listeria spreading through the U.S. We're fine.
I'm like I'm not leaving.
Bubonic plague ass fucking disease. Salmonella, really?
They literally just said, I think that I saw another video of them saying that there was a potentially another type of like COVID outbreak strain, not worse, but more contagious that could be possibly spreading, but no one knows about it because again, the communications have to go through RFK Jr.
Right. So that's the other thing is, so like all of these diseases are spreading in the US at rates that are concerning enough that there should be information distributed about how we can be more mindful, be more careful to avoid, whatever it is that's going to expose us to those things. But there has been no major health warnings because the CDC has been so drastically cut, and their newsletters have stopped. Their social media is like silent. Apparently they're posting RFK's travel plans. Like, why the fuck would I don't care where that raisin is going. Like, why would anyone care about that? Like, unless he is going to a literal dementia center, I don't give a fuck where he spends his day. They also used to regularly publish the morbidity and mortality weekly report, and they have not published it for the first time in over 60 years. But even if they did, all of their messages have to be approved by RFK. So, and this is a person who I double checked because I was talking to my mom about like this whole situation. I double checked like what his education is, and like he's literally an environmental lawyer. And I knew that he wasn't qualified, but I forgot because it had been so long. Yeah. Like what exactly his education was. Environmental lawyer.
But that's a lot of his appointed staff. Yeah. Like his appointed staff is a lot of just like uneducated or not educated within the
field they're working in.
The field that they're working in. And it's perplexing to me that we just
have to live in it.
It really just makes me want to strangle somebody. Yeah. And it is Alyssa. I don't think we're not even at 6 months yet.
I know. Isn't that some shit? I've been thinking about that. We're not even at 6 months.
I wake up and I'm like, oh, are we like closer to the end of the 4 years every time? No, we're not.
As I was putting this outline together, I like apologize in advance because like spending a whole hour talking about about politics fucking sucks. Like it sucks because it's just like gloomy bad news. I don't know, maybe we need to start like a little section that's like happier news every once in a while. We are going to at the end of this podcast, before we wrap, we're going to read a Reddit story that is kind of aligned with like what our podcast, Jasmine and I's podcast, After Hours, like we do Reddit stories on there every episode. And the one that we're going to read is about relationships and politics and some crossover there. So that'll be a fun way to hopefully lighten this up at the end of the podcast. But I wanted to get to one more note before we take a little break. And so this actually, at the time that we're recording this is like fresh. Like this is like just bubbling up to the surface. There is a report that RFK Jr. led, I guess. I don't fucking know what that even means. And it's called the Make America Healthy Again report. Can you fucking imagine? And he is facing intense scrutiny for this report because he cited several non-existent studies.
I can't... Studies
that just don't exist. And also...
But that's this administration. That's this entire administration.
Yeah. But the thing that's so frustrating about it, and this is why it makes me so annoyed when people like, do you know who Charlie Kirk is?
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Okay. Do you have the displeasure of not being aware of this man? So he, did you see any of the clips of him debating at Cambridge? This was this past weekend or whatever.
No.
Okay. So in that conversation, and like, I've seen this fucking movie before. This is the same type of idiot who sorry, that's not nice. The same people who let's call it space bait. The same idiots who chewed gum every week and talk to me about abortion stuff and then try to get in the weeds with me. And Charlie Kirk did the same thing about in the weeds of the biological process of when life begins. And like in this debate, he's talking about the DNA from mom and the DNA from dad, and if it's creating new DNA or if the combination of the DNA is technically not new DNA. Like, and at a certain point, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Then he started talking about like how you define a woman, and he said, well, so women have a prostate. Is that right? Women have a prostate? And he was trying to make an anti-trans argument. The irony is that women do have a prostate, but he is a fucking numbnuts, and he doesn't know that because he doesn't know anything about biology. And what's so frustrating to me is it's the same shit with RFK Jr. It's the same shit with Charlie Kirk. Stop making rules and laws around things that you literally have no information about. You are just making stuff up. You are not qualified to have this conversation. Like, you literally are not qualified. You're going to write a report. Apparently, this report, they are also speculating, was largely written by AI.
Good fucking Jesus. Okay.
Can you imagine? Right. Like, and this is the same, like, RFK is a boomer. So you know that this is the same generation that's like, these kids are lazy and they're not doing this and they're not doing that. And meanwhile, they're writing a Make America Healthy Again fucking report that's being released to the entire country without citing sources, written by AI.
Yeah. And that's a whole nother topic that you guys will probably talk about in the future.
Well, AI?
On this podcast with AI and how they're trying to literally not allow them to have any like structure or laws for 10 years. Like they're trying to put a memorandum or something. I don't know the word.
Memorandum?
So they can't do anything with AI for 10 years and they can just go crazy. And there's no laws. So listen, our RFK, just like, let's start this, bitch.
Let's And on that note, we're going to take a little ad break. And what we're going to do is we're going to go on the ad break, cry really quick, throw something at a wall. I have my little, this is a heating pad. I'm getting my period in a couple of days. So I'm
gonna take a shot or something.
To go. Yeah, right? I'm raring to go. I'm ready to beat someone's, no, that's a threat. I would never beat anyone's. But no, I would never. That's so crazy. No, probably not.
This episode is brought to you by the amazing people on patreon.com/calltheline, where you can get the show ad-free and you get the extended episodes where we do bonus shows, which is most of the time. Head over to patreon.com/calltheline and sign up today. Would you like to be one of the cool people who can prove...
Welcome back from the break. Everyone's fine.
Yes. No tears were shed. Shots were made. Had.
Shots were had. Honestly, at this point, I'm going to take like a shot of like, I don't know, NyQuil just to like sleep this shit off. I'm tired of my uterine lining shedding. It's exhausting.
It is. Being a woman, let me tell you.
Oh my God. Well, did you hear about Texas and the 10 commandments that will now be in public school classrooms? Did you hear about this?
Yes. And I saw the like hearing or the voting situation in the room with a woman who just kept getting embarrassed because they were having the vote on the Sabbath for the Jewish holiday. And then they were like, I was dying.
Yeah, I did see
and
that.
She was so sassy. So sassy. Not very godly of you.
No, they never are. It's like the same. It's like a tale as old as time. The minute that I get a comment, you saw that one that was like really awful. There was like long one of a woman commenting like, I hope when you decide you want to have babies that God won't allow it. Okay. One of the most mean-spirited comments I've ever gotten. And always the most mean-spirited comments I ever get are always people who are religious.
Bios that say, Jesus loves you.
Yeah, literally.
God is good.
John 3:16. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Or it'll be like God-fearing, God first.
it's scary. And again, for me, like I believe in God. I was like raised going to church and stuff like that. But I'm telling you, there are some people out here who are, every time I see it in the bio, it's like it's alarming to me. Just like the American flag.
Immediate red flag.
So there's like certain things that just really, and it's a shame, you know, and I'm not very like super happy about that. Like I'm disgusted or terrified or whatever feeling that approaches me when I see these symbols that used to just be normal people just expressing, you know, their beliefs, their patriotism, you know what I mean? But now in this day and age, it's kind of scary. It's scary.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know if I can like even trust you. Like even to bring it to our podcast, relationships, I'm like, I don't even know if I can start talking to someone who has like God is good, whatever creation in their bios. I'm like, I feel like you might be scary.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah. But and this is like, I have this conversation all the time with men who are having a hard time getting dates. Like women are freaked out and I think to some degree vice versa. Like I think people are in general not really feeling super open to one another because it's a little bit of a haunted house out there. It's a little ghoulish, some might say.
A little bit. Your favorite holiday. But
it is. Yes.
Not year round, okay, you guys? But this is
yeah, what the fuck is this?
Contain it.
Yeah, no, it's bad. It's bad. So yeah, Texas is mandating the 10 Commandments in public school classrooms. The Texas legislature passed Senate Bill 10, which will require the 10 Commandments to be on display in a 16 by 20 inch format, specific to the version of the King James Bible. So it'll take effect for the 2025-2026 school year. The ACLU is already threatening to sue. And there's a lot of other civil liberties organizations that are talking about doing the same. And there's obviously a lot of concern about church and state no longer being a thing. Although, like, the more that I think about it, it's like the same way with the American flag now feeling like a borderline violent symbol. It's like now I sort of, when I look back on those times, I'm like, for the adults that were really patriotic, even like back then, I'm sort of like suspicious where I'm like, like it's the whole thing about like Make America Great Again. It's like, when was it really, like what time period? Never. When was it that great? I just found out literally today that women couldn't take out a business loan on their own until 1988. So like, when were we so great?
The year of my birth.
Yeah. Right. Isn't that fucking crazy?
I don't. But again, it goes back to the hypocrisy of it.
Yeah.
Because you are banning books.
Mm-hmm.
You are banning things from schools.
Mm-hmm.
But then purposely putting in something very specific to a specific religion that does not cover every single person in this. What?
Yeah. I mean, it's Christian nationalism. It's Christian nationalism. And I'm so tired. I remember once my dad had a book on his nightstand, and thank the non-existent God, in my opinion, that he was given that book. Like, he didn't purchase it. That made me feel so much better because I was a little nervous. But it was a book that was like the war on Christianity. What the fuckity fuck are you talking about?
Who? What?
Me looking for the war on Christianity?
What? Where is that? Marco. I don't hear no polo. I don't hear it.
Marco.
I don't hear it.
Judas. Like truly. It's, yeah. No, exactly.
But that is something that they say. That is something that their rebuttal is.
Yeah.
You know, like, about, like, there's a war on us, and, like, we're, like, what? And I mean, that goes into so many different facets of what's happening in the world. And like, there's like a target on our backs as like white men, as like this and that, like there's just different, and but then we're the snowflake.
Yeah. This is like the everyday person who is trying to stay politically involved. This is how I feel. This is how you feel, where it's like, I think like when I do the podcast with Jimmy, because I do it more consistently with just him and I, and then like whoever else, he really keeps his like head above water, because I think he's been so involved in it for so long that it's like sort of created a callus for him. Where for me, I feel the same as you, where I'm like, I only really started to get, I'm 31, so I really only started to get like heavily involved maybe in the past like 5 years. I think before my frontal lobe developed, it was like not really there for me. Like I was just not putting two and two together in that same way. I voted, but I was not like in the weeds of it like we are now.
Yeah.
And boy, howdy, do I want to smash my head into a wall.
We were like almost forced to. And I think it kind of correlates with it. For me, anyway, it correlated a lot with, like, right before, like a little bit, well, probably Trump's first.
Yeah, you changed presidency. Everything. Yeah.
And I was a little more aware. I'm a little older than Alyssa. But I was a little more aware with like Obama and him going into office for the first time. Like I literally remember crying. And I was like, they're going to kill him. I was like, they're going to kill him. Like on his own, like when the day that he was put in, I was like, they're going to kill him. And I was like, just sobbing. My friend's like, are you okay? I'm like, no. I was like, because now I'm realizing how racist y'all motherfuckers are. I was like,
but that was 2008. So how old were you?
So 2008, I don't know. I don't know. Ask me the question.
You were 20.
Asking math.
You were 20. Right? You were born 88. Yeah. You were 20.
I was in college.
20 years old. Math. Yeah, girl. That's my fashion merchandising degree working really hard for me. Jesus God. Thank God for continuing education, because that is the most expensive coaster I've ever bought, that degree. Anyway.
But yeah, 20. Yeah. And still was like, I was shielding myself. I'm a big empath. I cry a lot, very emotional. So, I can only take it in like bits and pieces. Or I feel like I would have become a full-blown alcoholic.
Yeah.
Like, especially being in college and in a sorority. So I was like, I should probably just be a little careful here.
Yeah.
And then, moving out to LA, experiencing the different political climate as California, like California is, because I was in Pennsylvania. I was in Maryland, was teetering, because then there was like the South. Saw a lot of Confederate flags. So
yikes.
Yeah, I think it just keeps getting more and more. But like if you were in it, in the depths of it, like when you were forming those important parts of your brain, I feel like the callus would be nice. So I kind of envy Jimmy a little. I kind of envy Jimmy a little bit, because at some point I'm like, I feel like there's just nothing I can do, because I will be like, when you asked me to come on today, I was like, I feel like sometimes I talk like a ditz when I'm talking about like politics, but it's just because I'm trying to, like in a professional setting, if I'm talking to like my dad or someone who like I trust, I'm just enraged. And all I want to do is curse.
Yeah.
She goes, you can curse.
You can curse. You can curse here. We're fucking upset too, And I also said to Jasmine, and like I think sometimes this is like my role in my dynamic with Jimmy and Promise, is sometimes I think that like us being here also is important, because we can ask questions and express how we feel as people who are not like in the day in, day out, or people that are like newer to the depth of politics that we're exposing ourselves to now, which like I think that we had like some level of privilege of not having to care for a little while, but also we were young. Like in 2008, I wasn't 18 yet, so I was definitely not.
I mean, it also just wasn't taught a lot. Like I went to a predominantly white school in middle of New Jersey. And there's just a lot of stuff I was never taught. I had to literally actively seek it out. And my degree was a theater major. So I learned about musicals.
Yes. Jazz hands.
Did I learn about the political climate? Absolutely not. Like I had to seek it out. And I think that's the disadvantage of dismantling a lot of these agencies who are, you know, like that their sole job is informing us and keeping us abreast of situations. Is that people who are not able to get this information readily, who don't know where to find the information, are going to be at a significant disadvantage. And that's low income and a lot of minorities. So
yeah, 100%. And that's the whole thing with the CDC cutting the recommendation, RFK with the recommendation being removed for pregnant women and then risking insurance not covering it anymore. Again, it's like, okay, well, now you're putting people who are lower income and may not be able to afford insurance that will cover it anyway, or may not be able to pay out of pocket, or people who are at health disadvantages, which many times is lower income folks and people who don't have access to healthcare to like maintain their health on a regular basis. So there's so much there that's like systematic and just fucking horrible.
And like with putting in this commandment, and they're trying to do a lot of stuff with like putting it to the state. He always says that. Trump loves to say, let's give it to the state. I can't do a Trump impression. I refuse to learn that accent.
Yeah, no,
I
think
refuse
that's
to
fair.
learn that creation. But like all of these, but like putting it to the state, and it's just perplexing to me that these are the things that they're worried about. Be so fucking for real. That's what we normally say on our podcast. We always say that. And I talked to someone the other day. Do you fucking know that Flint, Michigan still doesn't have fucking clean water?
Yeah.
It's been like 10 years.
Yeah. I was talking, I think on the last episode, have you seen the podcast? It's called The Necessary Conversation. And it's a brother and sister interviewing their parents, and their parents are very Republican, like Trumpy vibes.
Wow. Okay.
I got to send it to you because in that conversation, the clip that went viral is one of the kids, the son, kids, he's like a full grown man. The son asks his parents, do you believe that water should be available to everyone? Like, do you think that the government should be responsible for making sure that everyone has clean water? And his mom says yes. And then his dad is like, not on a federal level, but like the local government, like they should be able to pay with their own taxes to get the clean water. And so they must, the context had to have been Flint, because the conversation then turned into, well, this is an area of lower income people, and so they're not paying property taxes. Much of the property is rental properties, so like they don't have enough money to pay for it via taxes locally to pay for the heavy lift that is cleaning the entire water system. So they would rely on the federal tax for that, tax dollars for that, or federal funding. And the dad dead ass says, then they get to just have sludge. Can you fucking imagine? I would never talk to my dad ever again. If that were my parent, I would never talk to them again. I'd be like, oh, we lost you. Actually, we lost you. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's the lack of care for anyone but themselves. That's what it's always giving. It's like you don't actually care about anyone but yourself. You don't care about anything but your immediate situation. And half the times you don't even care about your family. You don't even care about your daughter, your wife.
Yeah. I know. So, there is another story that I have to, I'll say really quickly, we'll touch on this briefly, but I think this is like a better story for when Jimmy is back, purely because I'll tell you which one and then I'll give the reasons why, but this is a court ruling on Trump's global tariffs. And the U.S. Court of International Trade ruled that Trump's Liberation Day tariffs, can you fucking believe that that's what he called it? They ruled that they are illegal and that Trump exceeded his authority under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. So, a federal appeals court temporarily reinstated the tariffs pending further review. It's one of those situations where, like, happy that this is being flagged, and also I don't really know that it's going to make a difference. Like, not with this administration. So I kind of am like, I would love to know, like, what Jimmy is back, like, if he thinks this, like, means anything. It's like for the amount of times that we hear, like, they're going to try and impeach Trump. It's like, okay. And he's still fucking here.
He got away with it.
Literally.
He got away with it the first time. Mm-hmm. He is a felon and still is president. And now he's like, basically, I mean, this man's sitting up here thinking he's untouchable. Mm-hmm. So,
well, because so far,
and they're giving him more power.
He has been. The Trump presidencies, plural, have shown me how actually impossible it is to remove someone from office. Impossible.
Psychotic.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. I would really love for those tariffs to be reversed because it is personally impacting me, and it also has impacted millions of other people, especially like small businesses. And it's just been the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. I saw a clip of him talking about the tariff situation, and he was like, you know what? Even I said when I heard it was going to be 145%, I said, wow, that's really high.
Yeah. He's like he's literally negotiating with our lives, essentially, with people's livelihoods.
Right.
And he knows, so he's like doing this bargaining creation of going high so like we can meet in it. Please.
Leave me alone. Literally, leave us alone. The best thing that he can do now.
But I've seen a lot of people say that. Like that whole, like, oh, well, do you see it's going to end, like, work out on the back end? Have you just, like, stopped and think about that? I don't want to fucking think about that. Right now, he's demolishing things that find another way.
Find another way.
If you were smarter, you find another fucking way.
Yeah.
But you have dumbasses around you, including yourself. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you're just doing the biggest, the most. That's only benefiting a certain amount of people.
Correct. Also, the thing that's confusing to me about all of this is he'll say stuff about about how it's supposed to be for the long haul. It's short-term pain so that we can have long-term gain and that kind of stuff. But I thought the goal that they were trying to sell us on was that we would bring manufacturing back to the US. Is that no longer the goal? What is the goal? Because I'm feeling like the goal is fuck everyone. And they're achieving that goal.
Correct.
So, F that.
But it's a cult, so they'll blindly lead him go wherever.
Yeah.
He leads them, even if it's right into the ground. Correct. 1,000 feet below the Earth's surface.
Yes, exactly. We're going to take another break. That's the part of all of this that will always be so hard is like, it's really loud for a second. Even when having these conversations, like with the friend of mine, it's like we are operating from such a different set of facts all the time that like it's hard to even know if it's worth having those conversations. But when we come back, we are going to talk about Andrew and Tristan Tate facing their charges in the UK because we now know the charges. And then we're going to read our Reddit story. And then we're going to wrap this shit up.
Would you like to be one of the cool people who can prove they were supporting this podcast right from the beginning? Well, you can. Head over to linemerch.com. That's linemerch.com and pick up some founders merch for The Line as a podcast that will only be available for a short time and features the rough draft drawn logo that soon will be updated to look less like it was drawn by a 3-year-old. That's linemerch.com.
Welcome back. Have you heard about the Andrew and Tristan Tate charges that they're facing? That they've released to them now?
I saw a glimpse, which is really interesting because don't they already have charges elsewhere too? Not.
So they had to return to the UK to face these charges. I think that they were also, because they are Romanian technically, and then I think they were getting charged in either Canada or the US, and then they left and went back to the UK. Can't remember, but there was a situation where they had run away as well. But they're now facing a total of 21 charges, including rape, human trafficking, actual bodily harm, and controlling prostitution for gain. And these are all offenses that are stemming between 2012 and 2015, with multiple alleged victims. So, yeah. And the Romanian courts approved them going from Romania back to the UK. And then they're going to have, pending the conclusion of separate legal matters in Romania. So what is so funny about me, my brain is, we're doing what we can. What's so funny about their whole situation to me is like, these are men who are trying to sell other men on them being the best, them having all of the answers, them being able to get women and whatever. And I'm like, they literally had to trap women in their houses to be able to have them stick around. Okay. I have something to say about Andrew Tate that's not nice and purely about his looks, but I think if there's anyone in this world who deserves it, it's him.
Correct.
Okay. So he has the kind of thing where like his jaw situation, you could tell his like orthodontic ordeal was not good. Like his jaw like is like back. Jaw receding, hairline receding. You know, it's like something is not, he doesn't have a jawline. And honestly, that's not even close to the worst thing about him, because as we know, I've dated someone who doesn't have a jawline. I'm not immune to a weak jawline, like whatever, like I don't care that much. But on top of that, like no jawline and a sexual
and
predator?
a shitty personality, a sexual predator, should be locked up, throwing away the key, and you're just looking like that. Wild behavior.
Wild. And also the fact that he has
audacity.
The fact that he has all of these allegations with his brother too. I'm like, you couldn't even find one single friend.
Right. Also, like, just saying.
Right. I've thought of that too. So that's a little weird. It's a little weird you're committing sex crimes with your brother.
But I love that for you. I love that journey for you. I hope you get locked up forever.
Yeah. Literally, I hope he gets locked up for fucking ever.
I don't want to ever hear your name again.
No. I would be so happy if he were wiped off of the fucking earth. And I feel like there's going to be another iteration of him somewhere. But
absolutely.
Excuse me, but it's going to be a really amazing way to move forward in these conversations with people who are like obsessed with this masculinity, alpha male shit, to be able to say like, look at this person who is allegedly a symbol of being an alpha male, and
look where he is now.
Look where he is now. This is not a system that works, obviously.
Right. But, thankfully, it's not here in the U.S. because Donald J. Trump would just pardon him. Like they're pardoning the Chrisleys for a fraud. So you can commit fraud. I mean, he's a perfect example of it. You can commit fraud and it's fine.
And it's fine. Are you a white family that committed fraud? Make an appeal to Donald Trump. He is totally ready to let you off the hook. Like, he literally is,
I woke up and I said, sometimes I'm like, I wonder what it's like to be white.
You know?
The privilege of just commit fraud. Don't worry about it.
Should I?
Bitch, go ahead. Listen, I'll make the appeal to Donald myself. I'm like, she's white.
Right.
Please let her out, Mr. Trump.
Please let me out, Mr. Trump. I also I have to pay my taxes. I got my I paid my state taxes. Now I have to pay I just got my bill for my federal taxes. And I literally looking at them, I'm like, I know you fuckers don't need this money from me. I know you don't. Jeff Bezos farts that out every second. Every second. And you need that money from me? Please. It hurts more every year. It really does. And I'm one mental breakdown away from calling the IRS and being like, I'm not paying this actually until you find a way to make taxes make literally any sense in this country.
Sense.
Literally any sense.
Please. Because
otherwise I'm just not doing this. I'm opting out. And it's like, would the IRS come to my door over such a relatively small amount? I don't know. Are we playing with fire? Is this a playful jest, or am I not going to pay my tax? No, I'm going to pay my taxes. I can't say that out loud on the internet. I am going to pay my taxes. That's crazy. And I'm scared. I'm scared of the IRS. Every time I do my taxes, I'm
Terrifying.
writing off my Canva account and all of the things that I know I can write off. I'm always and one day they're going to come and knock on my door and they're going to be and I just can't handle
Every
it.
time it goes past the 7th year, I go, okay, that year's good.
I think about that too all the time. Okay,
okay, thank God.
We're okay. We're on the other side. I know. Even when I get the text, because I usually do my taxes on TurboTax, whenever I get the text and it's the federal... Guys,
I'm ready for bed.
I really am. Whenever I get the text and it's the federal government or the state government or whatever, they've accepted your tax return, thank God. But also, I'm sure the fuck they did, because they're going to just make a whole bunch of money off of me. Right. Leave me alone.
Leave, please.
Please.
The door is that way.
The door? About face. That way. Leave me alone. I was not put on this earth to pay taxes when they are not going to help a single person around me. I would pay taxes so much happier if I felt they were going to
keep the shit in place. Keep the shit in place. That's helping the people.
Right. This is no taxation without
selfish.
representation.
It's a selfish fucking world we're about to roll into.
We're not being represented. I don't want to pay the taxes, but I
always wonder. I'm where can I go? What continent can I go? What continent can I go to where a man will marry me, and I'll have a happier life?
That's a good question.
Maybe I'll go to the moon. I'm gonna go to the moon.
I know a lot of American people, specifically Black families, have moved to Greece and have really nice experiences.
Listen, we were supposed to take a cruise. You not remember that? We were supposed to take a cruise.
I'm a little scared of cruises.
I would quite terrifying.
I would pursue it again. I would do it. I would do it to say I've done it, and I would do it to find you a gorgeous European husband.
A Greek god, perchance.
Perchance, should they have the time, in the event that they're looking for a partner.
Give me the Greek god version of Thor and Bradley.
You love him. Or, okay, actually, now we're really off the rails. What are your thoughts on, Pedro Pascal? Jimmy's going to listen to this and be like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Jesus Christ, Alyssa. I love him. I love everything that he I haven't even watched a lot of his work. I just like him as a person.
Haven't watched him act one single time, I don't think.
Him as a person, he just feels so true. He gives a actor of Thor and Bradley type of, playing field here that we're on. And yeah,
Yeah. I'm happy
Daddy
that
is what I think he is. I love when he says it. I watch all of his interviews though.
Yeah, right. And I'm like, and when he's acting in something, haven't seen it. I don't think I could even give you one single thing that he's in because I don't know. I'm actually
The Last of Us.
Okay. So I have watched that. I have watched it. Never mind. I also am just like, I don't watch that much stuff. So I'm not really the best person to ask for this anyway. But I'm happy that someone like Pedro Pascal is like getting the limelight he deserves. And one more pop culture thing, and then we're going to read our Reddit story. But did you see?
Gonna kill you.
I know. Did you see the video? I'm like, don't invite me and my friend onto the podcast then because then I'm going to talk to my friend, okay? We haven't talked to each other since yesterday. And stuff happened. Give me a break.
Every single day.
Every single day, things persist. And I need to talk to my friends about it. Did you see the video of Justin Bieber and SZA performing? Where she's holding
Do you hear the breakdowns of it?
What breakdowns?
Like the breakdowns of what was happening? Of what people are assuming?
No, and I would like to know because what I saw was a man nodding out and SZA holding up his head to be like, you need to support your spine.
Correct.
Stand up.
Yeah, they're saying it was, and again, I'm not well versed in the opioid epidemic and everything that's been, I stay mostly inside my house. But they were saying, a lot of people were like, apparently none of you have ever witnessed a fentanyl fold.
Oh.
And I was like, what the, no. And I guess like he was nodding out and like, or going to a different plane. I don't know. They were explaining, I'll send you one of the videos because a lot of people were saying, oh, he just needs a black woman. Like, the internet will go wherever they need to go.
What does that have to do with anything?
Because listen, they really hate Haley.
They
the internet
really do.
Listen, the bitch is done sold her company for $1 billion. She's fine. But her husband might not like her. It's fine.
And also might not live. Like, I'm worried.
Correct. He needs help. He needs help. So she was more like grounding him. And he still wasn't even there. He didn't even open his eyes. He was just like, the crisis is real out there. Drugs are terrifying.
Yeah. And it's one of those situations where it's like, this is a moment where I understand the like money doesn't solve everything, blah, blah, blah. In this circumstance, like, yeah, that's clear because it's hard to get an adult man. Like, we know this on a more like whatever personal, I said in a TikTok, personal, but also peripheral way where like, it's hard to have an adult man put into a rehab situation or put into a situation where they can like be in a conservatorship or get like that level of support and care. Because they can just sign themselves out. Like, they can just go and that's if you even get them there. Like, it's hard.
Right.
So I feel for their situation just like as a human being. It's hard because
I just hope he gets help.
Yeah, like he has all the resources in the world and is like crashing out in front of everyone. And it's just sad. So anyway, should we read a Reddit story?
Sorry, Jimmy.
Like,
we
literally
are
yappers. So sorry. And okay, no. You want to talk about yapping. Jimmy is among one of my like most talkative friends. Like, I think like there are times Jimmy is, when Jimmy calls, we're locked in. Like, we are locked in for like the amount of times where Jimmy and I have had a conversation that's been under 45 minutes is like, what? Like, it's very rare. Yeah, it's very rare.
The first time we met.
No, not even. Like, the first time we ever like talked was on a Zoom call, and I think we were on that Zoom call for 3 hours. I'm not kidding. And we talked about the most random shit ever. But like, we just always have something to yap about. So he's a fellow yapper, and so he'll understand, because it's just, it's hard, especially when you're talking about such heavy things, and it's like the state of the world. It's like, sometimes I just need to like turn my brain off and just be like, I don't know, blah, 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 Justin Bieber.
Mm-hmm.
Proper place, proper noun. Like, and just like zone out to it because it's too much.
Right. Correct.
But okay,
all right, Reddit story.
Let's read this Reddit story. This is coming from r/Ask Women Advice. It was labeled not safe for work, which I'm intrigued by because I haven't read this full story. I just see the headline.
Okay. Oh God, I'm scared.
The story, I'm going to make this look a little bigger so I could see this. Okay. The title of the story is My Friend, 27 Female, is dating a Trump supporter and I'm struggling to handle it. And I selected this story because we get calls like this on Chewed Gum. And also I think like everyone has experienced some level of this. And it's really fucking annoying. My best friend has been dating a Trump supporter on and off since November. We live in the UK, which makes this even more strange. Oh, fascinating. We're incredibly close, see each other a couple times a week, and I thought and still do think that we share some values. Their relationship is following a cycle where she'll establish contact, he'll say something strange, so she'll spend a lot of time trying to educate him and then end things. This came to a head around a month ago where I snapped a bit after she came to me for advice and just told her that she should prioritize her values above this person and that I was finding the cycle frustrating. She ended things again because she didn't want to educate him. Fair. Last week, she resumed things again, and I felt so frustrated and drained from all the advice I'd given being ignored that I took a break. We reconciled because I felt immature, and then he started saying stupid things about trans people, so I felt sure she'd end it. Tonight, I found out that she's with him, which makes me so irritated. How do I stop being annoyed with her? I just feel like this cycle is so toxic and it always makes me question her values, even though I know she's such a good person. I worry that if things do get more serious, I'll have to distance myself, and that scares me because we are like family. And OP also provided an update, but I want to hear your opinion first before I read the update.
I mean, I don't want to be like too vulgar on this podcast.
You could say whatever.
But I'm like, I feel like he must have good dick. Like,
yeah.
There's gotta be something that keeps... It must be.
Must be.
For you to keep coming back, you don't want to educate, because educating a man makes you feel like a teacher, makes you feel like a mom, and that's a very tiring role.
Yeah. And it changes
That's a
the
lot of work.
relationship dynamic.
Both of those roles are tiring. A lot of work, a lot of credit to both of those, people. In a relationship, please be so fucking for real.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I know she's fighting with that. So I'm like, what is the thing that keeps bringing you back, honey?
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Is it big? Is it thick? Jimmy's gonna be like, do not have this girl on here ever again.
Listen, he knew what he was... I think he knew what he was asking for. I think he saw the spitting clip. What are you going to do? Hilarious.
What are you going to do?
What are you gonna do?
For that, like, and it's just...
I also wonder, like, with people who are Trump supporters to the degree of, like, talking about queer and... We're not starting this. We're talking about queer... Not today. Queer trans people and, like, saying shit that's, like, not cool about really any community like that. What do you talk about with this person? Like, how... It's not like when I've dated men who are really into sports, and then I'm like, okay, this is not my favorite thing. And it's rarely offensive to me. Sometimes. Rarely, though, it's offensive to me. And so whatever, like, I can deal. Being transphobic, though, like, it's like I can't deal with that. Like, what are you guys talking about on a regular basis? Especially because politics is, like, tied into ethics and values. Like, I feel like it comes up in my everyday conversations now.
Yeah. We talk about a lot of like first date things for me because I'm still in the dating world over on our podcast. And
Somehow.
that's something that I do. I slip it in. I slip like that, slip like all the time. I slip shit like that in. I like mention, I was like, I have a best friend. He is gay, and I love that. I love him. I love him. And I see how they react. You know what I mean? Or I show a picture. Good. I'm like, look how cute my best friends are.
Yeah.
Like, who I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea.
If they were straight, they would be mine.
Yeah. Right. No, that's good.
But like,
that's good.
like throwing in like, just like see the react, because it is insane how some of, these men, like you can see it. You can see the uncomfortableness on their face, and you can see how they're scared to be like labeled a certain type of way if they do, or if they are okay with, the LGBTQIA community. And it's just like, this isn't going to work.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
So that's why, like,
sorry.
That's a fundamental, like, I'm heat. I have to know. I need to know what it is. It has to be the D. It has to be the D. Honey, listen, we've all been there. I need you to persevere. Okay. I need you to pick your pants up, buckle them, and get out.
Get a vibrator. Just get a vibrator. Just get one.
Literally, while he's sleeping, make a cast of his penis. And then I'm sure they make them. I think you can do that.
They do. It's called Clone a Willy.
Done, bitch.
Done. Or I'll do you one better. I bet you could make a funny bit out of measuring it. Be like, that's open. Oh, and measure it. And then like,
the girth.
Yeah. Could you fucking imagine like having a measuring tape and being like, I need you to get, and then just be like,
all you have to do is hype him up.
Hype him the fuck up. Get those measurements. And then when you leave, you have to tell him the reason. You have to be like, you're transphobic and you're trash.
Yeah, you're actually in a cult.
Indeed.
And I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to be your mom. I don't want to be your teacher. And I don't want to be around your toxic beliefs.
Yes. However, did enjoy the pee-pee. So I did take the measurements with me.
Loved it. So you take that and you run with it. However, that gets you through life. If that gets you through life, being a shit human being with very questionable beliefs, but you got a big old dong. I love that journey for you.
I feel like the masculinity issues that so many of these people have make me feel like their peepees are not very big, but I don't know. It's like,
I think that maybe he's a rarity. So she's really struggling. She's struggling.
You're right. No, you're right. Being transphobic feels like a small peepee problem.
Right. Or he's not as strong-willed. Maybe his like circle of people is, Trump supporters, and he just can't find a way to break out of it because it just, it's his comfort zone. I don't know. We're giving a lot of excuses. I don't like giving excuses for people's horrible takes on nothing that has anything to do with you. Doesn't concern you.
Correct.
Not bothering you. Not doing anything. So it's hard to give excuses for them. But yeah, that's the only recommendation I have for her. I really need to hear the update. And I'm hoping this bitch is not with him.
So the update is, she said, I told her that I won't be going to a queer event we planned to go to, and she accepted it. My birthday is coming up, and I was planning to do dinner, drinks, and then this night out. It's not explicitly queer, but a lot of queer and trans people go. I mentioned to her that night might feel a bit weird as well, but I didn't ask her not to come. I'm confused. She's saying that she messaged me later saying she wasn't going to come to my birthday at all because now she feels too uncomfortable about everything. I was hoping she'd pick me over this guy, and I was never going to exclude her from dinner and drinks. But yeah, now my best friend of 9 years isn't coming to my birthday party, so she can explore things with this guy. Fuck her.
Explore what? Explore him indoctrinating you into the cult? Like, what are you trying to do?
Right.
You want to reverse your beliefs, change your beliefs over some pain?
Yeah. Over some pain? Yeah, no. I feel like this, you got to just let this girl figure it out. Hopefully she comes back to you. You know, it's like if you love something, let it go, and maybe she'll come back. But I would not waste your time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't waste your time. That's really, it's unfortunate. I'm sorry about your friend, but I think she's like a little lost in the sauce. Again, like I'm hoping that the D is good, because that's, yeah.
If that's not, I just don't know why you would stay.
Yeah. And I'm hoping, like, there's some comments that are like, you know, I have family members that are Trump supporters. I don't hate him. And I won't disown him or them. But you need to determine whether this is a deal breaker for you. If like these values and ethics are a deal breaker for you, if they are, then bye. And if they are not, then you need to have like a agreement that you're not going to bring up anything that this fucker says to you, because I won't be able to like handle it in kind.
Right.
So I don't know. I literally only have that one friend that I was talking about earlier who is like a low-key Trump supporter. She is the only one that I know of who is still my friend, because she doesn't talk to me about it ever. And so I can't say for sure. But she's the only one. And like, aside from that, I just kind of feel like our values don't align. Like you are aligning yourself with literally a party of hate and cruelty. And like, I don't know what to say. I'm literally always trying to socialize less, and this person just gave me like an out.
Stunning.
Bye.
Great. I would love that.
Literally bye. You know?
Yeah. I'm like, oh. Yeah. I think there are some people who don't talk about it. Like don't talk about politics.
Yeah.
And I do have like, I don't know, like I kind of stare at them sometimes, kind of like bring up stuff to like test it to see. And I can't ever tell. I did get like unfollowed by someone who said I talked too much about politics. I heard this through a third party friend. And I was just like,
I don't even think you talk about politics.
No, I don't.
Much. Yeah.
I was like, I talk about Black people. So if she doesn't like that.
Yeah. Right.
Then you don't like me
really
again.
Want to.
That's what I'm saying. The secret racist that, you know, is now just everything coming to the forefront of just. It's aggressive. It's a lot that's happening in the world, but it is showing people their true colors. You know what I mean? You just see it real quick.
Yeah, exactly. It gives you enough information, honestly. More than anything else, it gives you information about this person, and that's all we fucking needed to know. If you don't want it, it's like, I don't know, if I for a while I didn't want to get very political on my platform either, but it's just so a part of like our life now, like in so many different ways that like I can't imagine just like pretending it's not happening.
Correct. Like I remember, even when after he got elected, I remember the mass amount of people who were just like, if you voted for him, please unfollow me. Like that was the type of stuff that people were doing. Me, I just found out. Like one day I felt bored, you know what I mean? And I just opened up Instagram and I started unfollowing people.
Yeah. Oh, if you ever like, and it's tricky now because originally people were saying go to the people that follow Trump, like go to your mutuals and just like unfollow. But sometimes I have some people that I know who follow Trump's account to like keep eyes. So like it's people who I know.
I did that and then I saw the likes on the post. Like I went deep. I get bored sometimes.
That's the way though. That might be the way. Anyway.
And stories around that time was great too. Like people were posting stories. So it was pretty easy for me to get rid of people.
Yeah, people who are being neutral. Right. Anyway, thank you for joining us on this episode of The Line Has a Podcast. Jasmine, this was so fun. I'm so glad that you came.
I'm so happy.
Yay. And everyone, go to After Hours podcast. It's on Spotify, Apple, YouTube. It's ours. It always gets loud randomly. It's After Hours without the H. So After OURS podcast. And you can check out our drunk episodes on the Patreon. You can also go to patreon.com/The Line and support that channel there too. And we will see you all in the next one. Bye.
Yes. Bye.